when you connect to your energy, you connect to that, the deeper layer, not the peripheral doing, pursuing. You just drop a little deeper. And you know, when we were children and we used to sit in class, oh gosh, it was endlessly tedious, and you'd look out the window and start daydreaming,
Oh
or
yeah.
going a long distance in a car, and you sort of go from here to there, and then you almost think, well, oh my gosh, how did I get from here to there? I didn't even pay attention to the road, and it just happened like that. In those moments, that's when we're in that different frequency, and that's when we are more attuned energetically. So if
Oh
you know
really?
those moments, then
Mm-hmm.
that's where it is. When I talk about energy, I would talk about it in terms of an activation of energy, because I think we don't know how to activate our energy. I think we're just running on resources, sort of our energy resources, and just running crazy in the world. But when we actually go quiet for a moment and then connect in and activate our energy, then it feels more powerful, more purposeful, like we can direct our energy towards something. So when I work with energy, that's what I want to do. I don't want everyone to become complacent blobs, because that's no good. We want to know how to harness the energy and direct it in a way that is meaningful for us, purposeful in our life, and of value to those around us. So that for me is how we should be looking at our energy field, and knowing that you have an electromagnetic field. So your mind, and you've got a fantastically connecting, correcting, activating mind. That mind type that you have is so fantastic, because then you're just charging up your electro field massively, and you just activating and charging. You can get things done and process really, really fast. And that ADHD story that people say, when people are working in that kind of mind, it's that it is so fast that your words can't keep up with what it is that you activating. It's like your words are
Mm-hmm.
behind you, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it makes you feel like, okay, I'm not being fluent now, because my
Mm-hmm.
words are getting stuck, because I'm way ahead of them in your activation. So that is the electro part of our energy. And then the magnetic part is the heart. And when we just run on the one system, then we're running out of our energy field. But if we're running both systems, then we're coming back into our entire field. We're activating our entire field. And that's truly what we want to do. We want to just get the whole field moving and activating. So it's a wonderful way for us to recalibrate our energy. When you bring that in to your heart frequency, and you consciously drop it down and into your heart, then watch this space. Chick, chick, chick. Exactly. And as we're moving along, you'll find you're able to connect the two together, so that you've got your full aptitude functioning for you. I've just put a little video out right now. Go and have a look at that little video, and it's called Mind, Body, Being Reset. The other way that you can activate your energy is your awareness of your masculine and feminine body. So you've got your masculine and your feminine being. And we know that on your right side of your body, that's your masculine energy. That's the doing, pursuing, activating. And when we have a very connecting, purposeful, fast sort of personality, we tend to activate onto that right side a lot. We move and shake into that space. And then the left side is the more feminine energies, connecting, insight, intuition, guidance, taking a breath, stopping and
Not
smelling the
yet.
roses.
Missing.
And so if you think about, then you've got two sides to your body. And
Yeah.
if you think about it like a seesaw, remember we used to call them seesaws in
Mm-hmm,
South
mm-hmm,
Africa, but the
mm-hmm.
teeter-totter, if you think of it like that, and you think of it's just always running on that edge, on the one side,
Mm-hmm,
running to the
mm-hmm.
right, then it's not really in balance. And
Right.
balance is when you find the space that brings it to equilibrium. And
Okay.
there's so much importance in this to know it. If you know it in nature, it'll be easier for you to say, well, I'm part of nature. So regaining the sense of balance of my left and my right hemisphere of my brain, the left and right personality types almost, or activations of my body. If I can do this in accordance with the divine and sacred design, then we're really looking good. There is a divine design. And the divine design, if we were to take it as a ratio, and I must find the information, I can never remember it, but it's like, I think it's 0.6607, with lots of numbers, or 1 point, I'm not too sure, but whatever it is doesn't really matter. But if you looked at it as a ratio, it would be something point, lots of numbers that never, never, never repeat. The ancient artists, they knew how to work with the divine design. So when Leonardo da Vinci and all those people constructed their paintings, they created it in the divine and sacred ratio. If you looked at
Wow.
anything and everything in life, everything is designed on the sacred ratio. If you took it as a fraction, it would be more or less 5/8. And the perfect balance is 5 masculine and 8 feminine.
Oh,
I know.
now is that for because I'm a woman, or is that
For
anybody?
everything in the
Oh,
world.
really?
Every
Really?
single thing on this planet, every
Wow. Can
drop
you
of
imagine if it
water,
was that way?
and
The world would
then,
be so different.
and can you love that? Because then we'd be back in
Wow.
balance. We
Yeah.
wouldn't be pursuing and pushing and doing and achieving and killing, and
Right.
masculine
Right.
energy goes down to 5 and the feminine energy rises to 8. Then we're back in our equilibrium. We're back as a species, we're back in harmony with our planet and every
Wow.
single particle of this planet. And that's,
Wow.
if we want to have any kind of motivation, let's have that.
Wow.
I
Wow.
know.
That's amazing.
Wouldn't that be something?
Sure.
So that's my plan. That is my plan.
You are working very
I
hard at it.
have a plan, and it's to rebalance this frequency. That's why I do energy work, because we've got to harness our energy and repurpose it, reactivate it in a different way. We've got to reset our energy in a different way. It's really
Wow.
important that we do that. And the more aware we are of it, the better. So
Right.
the busy and the doing, it's been a little bit of a trained story that's come into us. Your activation, your ability to be so aware and so fast, if you took that speed, that unbelievable speed, and you brought it through your heart into your feminine, and you started saying, what would the feminine bring in now? Not the pushing so hard, but the creating energy. It's a different frequency, it's a different feeling, it's more creative rather than accomplishing. Different
Wow.
energy.
Wow.
So
So,
imagine
yeah.
taking all that energy that you've got and redirecting it. Just turn that dial and turn up that 8 into the 8. Turn up that feminine energy into your 8. And then, oh my gosh, there'll be no stopping what you could do, because then you are in perfect alignment. So whatever you create, whatever you desire, whatever you look forward towards, you can manifest and open it up for you, because you know how to throw energy into the space and explode it.
Wow. Wow.
Nice, Judy.
That'd be
So
fabulous.
yes, and then that's what we
Well,
do.
if you can achieve that with me, Joy, you are, you'll conquer the world.
And so will you. And so will you. Yeah. Because it's not
Yeah.
random.
Yeah.
It's not, no one's broken. We all have these wirings. We're wired in the perfect way, but we're not using it in the perfect way. So if we
Right.
could use it in the perfect way, oh my word, how amazing would
Wow.
that be? Yes.
Wow. That's interesting.
So that's
Wow.
what we're going to do. We're going to rewire, reconnect, and recreate. In a painting, you can go and look at paintings in sacred ratio, and they take a piece like this. If you divide
Yeah.
it into fours, then
Yeah.
it would be here, 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 or here would be your pivot points, your focal points. And like the Nautilus shell, it just grows
That's
out
right.
from
Yeah.
that. But it's
Yeah.
clustered here. It draws you back to that. So if you design a painting in that awareness, then people will just naturally go to it. There's an artist who absolutely perfectly manipulates the mathematics on these huge canvases, and he works it out to the finest point of where that dot is, and then everything grows from
Wow.
that. And when people see his paint, and they're huge, when they see his paintings, they are like, oh, I have to have it. I have to have it. It's like this, like, oh, they feel whole, they feel complete, they feel fulfilled, they feel joyous, delighted. So imagine if we all create the canvases of our lives in that way. We create these canvases
Wow.
that have this sense of like there's harmony, there's balance, it's just right. When we get it, when we get the story, it's like, okay, then I don't have to be different. I'm perfectly wired, perfectly wired. Nothing broken, I'm just fabulous. But what I do is I fine tune my fabulous.
Interesting. Oh, I love it.
I know,
Yeah.
you're gonna
Fine tune my fabulous.
yes, fine tune your fabulous. How do we do that? As we start to become just aware. The first step is just become aware. Become
Okay.
aware that there is such a thing as a divine and sacred ratio. There is a divine design. Become aware of it. And in everything you look at, when your eye is drawn to it, say to yourself, I wonder why. I wonder why I'm just so drawn with such fascination to the beauty of this. And just look into it. Just see it. Just look in. It'll draw you in, and then there'll be this space that you can dream into. And that's what we do with our attention. We focus in, and then we open it up to all the potential space that's around it, to dream into that space, to draw it back to the focus. So can you feel how it's like it's opening and then bringing you back? It's a wonderful...
To a different focus.
Yeah, you can refocus, or you go back to that focus. You can change your
Okay.
focus, but you have all the space. If you think like a Nautilus shell, there's time when it moves
Yeah.
into its
Yeah.
tiniest space, and you look at it and you go, oh my gosh, look how beautiful, intricate. It goes teeny, 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 and you're so absorbed in it, so delightful. And then you start to just let your eyes soften. And then you start seeing how it opens more, and it's perfectly mathematically designed. It is in perfect ratio. It opens up in the exact perfect design to bigger and bigger, and there is the whole mathematical thing on how it opens up, and it is doing it. And you're looking at it, and your sense of your being, that is the divine design, feels at home in that. It feels like, I know what this is. We know this design. It's
Interesting.
familiar to us.
Interesting.
Yes. Comfort,
Wow.
calming,
Right.
peaceful, relaxing, blurring our vision, peripheral focus, daydreaming. You come into that sort of daydream, expansive energy. That's the feminine energy. And then you draw yourself back and you focus into that small space.
Okay.
You create your focus. That's your masculine energy, and you focus right into that. And then you grow it out again, and you open it up into this beautiful feminine energy. Then you're creating the perfect balance. So if this was a teeter-totter, a seesaw, where you got that seesaw like this, and imagine we had a sugar dumpling on this side that was 4 kilograms and a sugar dumpling on this side that was 4 kilograms, it wouldn't move unless they pushed. But if they
Right.
just sat there, it just would sit in that space. But if we had a heavier child, it would push down. It would automate, and that kid has to push harder to kick themselves up and give this kid a ride, and then it would push it down. This kid wouldn't even have to kick up, but with this little blob over here would
Yeah.
use its weight and it would just bring it down. So can you feel like that brings movement? If it was 4 and 4, if the divine and sacred ratio was just all the same, not 5/8, not an off balance, if it was the same, we would have stillness, homeostasis, nothing happening. So that's why the divine design is a little off, because there is movement. When it's a little off, there's movement.
Interesting.
Yes.
So is it always moving? I mean, it doesn't just stay, even if you've sort of achieved that sort of level, it's always going out of balance and rebalancing. And
always. It must.
Okay.
Because that's energy being activated, moving, flowing.
Okay.
Everything in life must do that. We have these little oxbows when the river flows like this.
Right. Yeah.
And then it has these long stretches of openness and just flowing as fast as it can, and then it slows itself down, going into the next curve, and it is that is energizing the water. So if you even know about structured water, and which is also beautiful to know about, structured water is because it's water that's known flow, that has known itself in flow, as in a river coming down a mountain. It moves, so you imagine they're creating vortices. So as it comes down a mountain and there's a big rock here, it's got to go round. So it does this little vortex comes, and then it goes this side, a big rock, and then it creates it the other way. It's these vortices that are happening all the time. A lot of people, there's a thing called twisted sage. You can get them in America, and they make these little wire energizers.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And just look them up on the internet. Really amazing. It makes amazing energizers. And this is a friend of mine made this little one, but it's out of copper, and they energize. But this little spiral, he's got some that go like that, and then it goes the other way, and then it opens up, and we have this opening and flowing in the different directions. Start watching that in the eddy and the flows and the currents. Start watching that like where you are in the world that you are. You're going to see all of that happening.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, okay, I will.
A whole new world to see. So we need to have off balance, not this perfect balance, so that we can have flow. So when women have picked up themselves and gone to work as in the man's world, and they put on the suits and the briefcases, and they've jumped into the man's world, we've thrown our energy, we've thrown it right off. We've taken our beautiful divine feminine energy and we've thrown it into the masculine mix, and we no longer hold that sacred space to restore balance. It's because women have been told you can only achieve and be fabulous if you're like a man.
Interesting. Yeah.
No more.
So sad.
So sad.
Yeah.
Because then we tipped it really down. We've really, really tipped it right out.
Wow.
Stay your beautiful, divine, goddess, feminine energy.
It's all beginning to make more sense.
It totally does. So we love our men for their fabulous energy, and we love us for our fabulous energy. And we don't have to be like a man to do. We can be active and strong and fabulous, but we must always be our feminine.